Experiment begin! It's showtime! It's showtime!
Test, test.
All right. Looks like we are getting started with the Gameworks Puyo start of the year, start of 2020 Puyo Champions Tournament. On the left we have Matsi, and on the right we have Squish. Both of these look like they're pretty newer players to the game. They are at least they are stacking colors generally together. Squish gets a 2-chain. Gets a little bit of garbage on the left on Matsi. Let's see if he can build around it. Ooh, he gets a small Hellfire chain to get even more garbage down. And his board is looking pretty empty here, other than his own stuff. Whereas Matsi is kind of just digging out of his garbage a little bit. He's got a 2-chain setup though, if he can get those purples cleared. See if he can stack a little more on that. No, he's just going to settle for the purples and yellows. Oh no, there's a 3-chain there. But Squish fires back with a 3-chain of his own. Garbage gets mostly nullified. 1 chain on the right side. Matsi is starting to look to build okay, but he doesn't really have too much in the way. Okay, he's going to get a 2-chain. He's going to get a quick 2-chain out of this. Send some garbage down. But it gets canceled back with Squish's own 2-chain. Small Hellfire chain for more garbage. Squish has some like pretty open piles here, and it's kind of hard for him to get a chain out of it. He's gonna have to start like building a little more vertically to try to clear some of those purples, and it's looking a little worse for him now. He's gonna have a hard time getting out of this. He needs a blue. He needs something. If he had squished it over the top a little bit to the left there, he might have been able to free up his piece. Worth noting, this is also not the legendary Akatsuki Eunice Squish. This is a different person who goes by the same name. Two chains on both sides. They're going to cancel each other out. But I guess because of the timing, because it was a counter, I think Matsu was able to actually send some garbage back. It's the same number of pieces either way. Matsu is starting to get a little bit of a hole for a sandwich if he can start getting some purples down, but it looks like he's just going to cover it up. Maybe just try to do something stairs-wise. Squish gets a 2-chain, sends something back. Matsu gets a 2-chain back. Still gets a little bit of garbage because of the 5 combo on the right, I think. Matsu is trying to find some way to force something. Squish with a big 2-chain covers up his entire pile, and he's got to start over here. Gets another 2-chain, and he's mostly starting over from scratch again. He's got some yellows open on the right, but he can't really chain much from it. Starts to build his way down, and then just gets covered with more garbage. Yeah, Matsu's playing from behind for the most part, unless he can get something out of this, but he needs some pretty specific pieces to get out here. His right column can't really fit too much in it, and now he's just covered up the yellow. He gets a purple, he can start digging his way down, but he still doesn't have too much in the way of chains. Squish can clear the greens on the right, or get another 2-chain, try to cover up the pile some more. Yep. And Matsu has to start over again. If he can clear that thing under the greens, if he can clear those reds, he can start a 2-chain at least and maybe start fighting back. And there we go. There we go. Squish's pile is still really low though. Oh! Matsu's death column was pretty full here. He's going to need some pretty specific pieces to get out. He can use those greens to clear that, and he can use the purple to keep himself alive. He's hanging by a thread here. If Squish can clear that one garbage blocking the yellows, oh no, maybe not. He decides to clear off a different way. Matsu trying to clear those reds, see if he can get something with it. Stacks the yellow, puts the green on top of it. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get something out of there. He needs a red to survive, but Squish gets a chain and takes the game. So these sets are for more people familiar with puzzle games. This is not first to 5 this is not a first to 5 rounds or anything like that. These are played like a fighting game set where you win first to 3 rounds to win a game, and then you win a best 2 out of 3 games. Oh, Matsu gets it all clear. He just needs to clear almost anything, especially anything at this point. And Squish is going to be in a lot of trouble because that's going to be 5 rows of garbage just for clearing anything on top of whatever he would get for the chain. Oh, he gets a 3-chain for it. And Squish is over. Matsu on game points. He's still gonna win another set after this, though. Good for him. All right, we have another new round. Matsu trying to stack over on the right. Squish setting something GTR-like on the left. But he's got a little bit of a rough pile to get into, especially with the single piece of garbage blocking off his opening. Matsu just trying to put colors together, and maybe try to get like a 2-chain or something out of it. Doesn't have too much right now. Okay, now he can clear the greens for a 2-chain, but he opts not to do that, and gets hit with a lot of garbage. I didn't quite see what was going on the right, but good for Squish. But Matsu's got to pretty much build over from this, mostly from the start, but gets a 2-chain to start digging his way back. Squish can clear those blues for a 2-chain, but I think he wants something a little bigger than that. Oh, he decides to clear the yellows instead. It's still a 2-chain though. Matsu has a bunch of groups of 2 and 3. If he can clear the greens, that's a 2-chain. No, that's not even a 2-chain because the garbage made it fall further. Squish amassing a pile of greens and blues on the right. Gets a 2-chain for his troubles. Matsu getting something kind of big here. Gets a 3-chain. Sends some garbage down, but nothing that Squish can't handle. Matzi continuing to bring his pile down. If he can clear the greens, that's an easy 2-chain, but he decides to opt for a 6 combo instead. Wish has a decent amount of garbage and doesn't really have an opening he can get a chain out of. It looks like Matzi is a little bit more in the lead here, but it could go either way depending on how well Squish can clear out this garbage. If he can clear out those purples or those yellows, it's going to clear out a bunch of that, and suddenly, not quite. Oh no, it does continue the chain. Oh, there's a 4. And that piles up on Matzi quite a bit. He's not dead yet, but it's going to be, he's pretty close. He might be able to get, oh no, he doesn't anymore! It is 2-2 in game 1. All right, interesting start. There is all clear potential. The yellow, okay, the yellow makes it a little bit harder though. Oh, and I am now being called for my own match, so I will be back.
An overlay one day. Yeah, I'm just glad there's some. Oh.
Hey, watch! One. Two. Oh no! One. Two. All right. Oh no! Two. Oh no! Two. Oh no! Two. Oh no! Hey, watch! Hey, watch! Two. All right. Oh no! Hey, watch! Hey, watch! Hey, watch!
Look at one.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so I just got 2 out by Harpoon Cannon. But it looks like this, yeah. The Matsi versus Squish set is still going. It's 1-1 now, and it's looking pretty close. Matsi is on set point here, and has a decent build if he can clear out those greens. He can get a chain out of it. Meanwhile, Squish has a little bit. If he can free up those yellows, there's a 2-chain there. Matsi is just getting a whole bunch of garbage piled on him though, and it's kind of hard for him to get to stuff. If he can clear out maybe the green on the right, he can start forcing his way in, but he just keeps getting dumped by more garbage here. Squish is in a really good position here. If he keeps yeah, if he keeps the offense going and keeps managing to drop pieces, it's going to be, he has a good chance of winning this round. But Matsi is starting to dig back through the garbage. He gets a 2-chain of his own and starts fighting back. Squish does get a 2-chain though. It seems to have been nullified by Matsu on the left because he didn't get any new garbage and I wasn't watching. But looks like Matsu can get something decent. He gets a 2-chain for that. If once he clears the blues, he's going to get another 2. And there it is. And now Squish is starting to get a whole bunch more garbage piled on him. It might be a little bit tricky for him to get out. But we'll see what happens with it. Matsu clearing some small combos, and as the game goes on, you do pass more garbage over for the same amount of clear. And Squish is in a little bit of trouble here. His board is pretty tight, and it doesn't look like it's too good of a way out. And Matsu takes the set. 2-1. I didn't get to see the entire set, but both sides looked like they played really well, and that was a super close game. And we'll see what we get up next. Huh? I don't know. Apparently this set might still be going and the score we have on top might be wrong. Is it 1-1? I don't know, I didn't see the whole thing. It was 1-1 when I sat down and started again. This said 1-1. I don't know if it actually was or not because I didn't see the whole set. How many rounds did you win? 6 or 3? Okay. Okay, so it looks like it might actually be 1-1. Alright, well, Matsu sends off a 3-chain. Gets some garbage piled up. Squish's colors are at least pretty well grouped, but he needs to get to them first before he can do anything. Matsu should try to mount the pressure up here. Sends a 2-chain to try to keep that garbage coming. Sets off a 1-chain with 8 Puyo to send a little bit more garbage down. Squish fires a 2-chain back, gets some of it nullified because Matsu cleared some stuff. And Matsu just sends a 2-chain back. Squish sends back a 2. And then a single, which I don't think will leads to a single piece of garbage. Matsu has a big open pile on the right to try to get a 2, and which just got covered up, so he's gonna have to find a new way to get into those blues. And clears some lines, just gets piled up with even more garbage. Squish still on the offense, fires the 2-chain back. Matsu gets rid of the blues, but doesn't actually get a chain for it. Sends 8 Puyo, but the 2-chain that Squish sent back led to more garbage, so he just continues to get a bigger pile. His stuff is a little bit disorganized, but he has some groups there. He doesn't really have a chain coming out of it, though. And that little blue pile out there, if a random piece of garbage starts coming out in there, it could lead to some trouble. But he clears it out with the 2-chain. Squish responds with the 2-chain back. The garbage gets nullified, so nothing falls. Matsu clears out the blues, gets a 3-chain for his troubles. Ooh, that's going to lead to 4 lines of garbage. Squish wasn't able to do anything to counteract it in time. Matsu sends a somewhat big 2-chain back. Oh, and that's going to fill the board. Alright. Alright, so we go into game 2. Squish looks like he's going to start piling for some spares of some sort. We'll We'll see if it turns out to actually be that way. Nazi putting a big hole on the right. Oh, and just turns it into a 3-chain. Squish is built pretty vertically though, so it shouldn't hurt him too much, but that's still a big pile of garbage. He's still got to dig through it to get back to his colors. But he's starting to work his way back. Matsi keeping his stack pretty low. Doesn't have too much in the way of a combo right now. If Squish can start getting to his actual Puyos, he might be able to do something big here. Matsi stacking a little bit more, clearing out some greens, but no chain coming out of it. Squish still clearing his garbage down. He's starting to get to his pile. See if he can actually make a chain with it. Matsi is going to send a somewhat big 2-chain back. Oh, and Squish counters with a chain of his own. Matsi's starting to stack some stuff, maybe try to set up a small chain, gets garbage for his trouble, but it's not too much, nothing he can't recover from. He can still clear those blues for a 2-chain, which he does. Meanwhile, Squish still sends a 2-chain back. Oh, but he's going to get a 3-chain sent right back at him, and it's going to lead to a couple of lines of garbage. Oh, no, just one. He was able to send a 2 to nullify some of it. Matsi has some rows for some stairs here. Makes a 2-chain with the stairs. Sends one more to continue it. Both don't have too much in the way of colors right now. Squish has more garbage, so pile is a little bit higher, but otherwise it's about the same number of Puyos on each end with about the same chain potential. So this game is pretty close here as far as I can tell. Squish gets a 2-chain sent his way and sends one right back, and Matsi counters right back with his own 2-chain just to nullify some of that garbage. Squish doesn't have too much in the way of Puyos, just fires off a clear. Matsi also doesn't have too much chain potential, but if he can get to those purples, oh nope. Okay, well he sends a 2-chain and it sends 3 rows. Squish's piles are covered, but it shouldn't be too bad for him to get into it if he can be somewhat efficient with it. Matsi has a bunch of group Puyos, not too much in the way of a chain. Meanwhile, Squish also has a bunch of group Puyos, not enough for a chain anywhere. Matsi has more garbage, but also a little bit of chain potential at this point, especially if he can clear out those greens, he can get a 2-chain from it. Nope, opts to do something else. He's probably going to clear out the blues on the right and get a 2-chain from it. No, he wants to build bigger. Oh, now he sends the 2-chain, but Squish managed to send something back. Squish is getting piled up a little bit higher here, and he's running out of room. He's got to be able to clear some things fast. He's not dead here, but he's in a much tighter space, and he's got to clear something in here, and he doesn't have it. All right. It is 2-0 for Matsi. He is now actually on set point, apparently. Matsi looking like he's going to try to set up a quick 2 here. Clear out the purples, clear out some stuff. Looks like Squish is going to send the same thing right back. Matsi going to try to set up a sandwich of some sort. Is he going to clear the big pile? No, he just makes a simple clear. Opts to try to go for a chain instead. Squish is just doing a little bit of garbage control. If he clears out those reds, he gets a nice Hellfire, but suddenly the path to his reds is pretty clogged up right now, and he's going to have a little bit of a tricky time clearing it. Well, if he clears those purples, that clears that, and if he had a red on top of that, that could have been a big chain, but no, he's going to opt for 2 chains instead. No, just a big 1-chain. Matsi does get a bit of garbage sent his way. He's probably going to opt to clear the purples for a chain. No, he's going to try for something a little bit bigger first. This is still going to be a 2-chain, though. Squish clears a big 1-chain to clear out some of the garbage. His pile's looking a little bit okay. He's got a nice cup of purple in there. Clears out some of that to send a little bit of garbage into lower his stack a little bit. Matsy has some stuff. Matsy has some stuff on the right. You can clear out those reds for a 2-chain, maybe a little bit more. Opposite clear the yellows for a 3-chain. Nice. Sends a bunch of garbage. Squish's stack is still open though. He can still clear out those greens for something, though it doesn't all that much. Matsy can keep mounting the pressure here. He might be able to do something interesting with those greens if he can set something up with it. No opposite for the yellows instead. Has some set some reds down. He's gonna clear the greens for a 2-chain. Meanwhile, Squish covers up his trigger for a 2-chain. He's got one whole. He's got a little bit of space left. He might be able to make something work with it, but he's running out of space here, and that finishes it. And Matsy actually ends up taking this at 2-1 with a very convincing third game. Was still a good set. Really, really close. Like they put out a really exciting set for two people who don't know how to set off the really, really big chains, but they still managed to make it really close and really exciting. So good play from both of them. Desync the pad if you can. We've got a lot of pads doing. We've got a decent number of pads playing today.
Looks like that.
Alright. If you need a match for, I don't mind if we sneak games going there.
Talking chicken.
All right, looks like we have a new set here. We have Matsi versus Newbie Hope. Newbie Hope is definitely knows his way around the board a little bit more. So let's see if Matsi can keep up. He starts with the Matsi starts with the 2-chain, is able to send a little bit of garbage as a result. Newbie is setting up some GTR on the left, but he's missing a red. Okay, he's gonna get his red that way. So now his greens are his trigger. Oh, but they get covered up by Newbie. Or they get covered up by Matsi. And he's kind of has to dig for his chain now. Kind of a good spot. Gets a 3-chain and at least is able to send something back, but it's definitely not the chain he wanted. Is able to send a 2 for a little bit more pressure. And he is now just building a bunch on the right. It doesn't look like there's anything huge coming out of that, but he's at least setting up a 3. It gets covered up by the 1 piece of garbage, but nothing too crazy. He can now clear those greens for his trigger. Maybe he's gonna build. He's gonna. Let's see if he stacks even higher. No, he just fires it off. This is gonna be a 4, I think. Yep, it's a 4-chain. Matsy gets a bunch of garbage on him. He's not dead, but he might as well be. Yeah, he is definitely dead. He can't. Hoping that maybe Newbie just is holding down on his board the entire time, because that was his one chance at actually being able to not lose there. Newbie sets up another GTR. Matsy has the start of a 3-chain here if he sets it up. Oh, it's an all clear! Oh no! Newbie starts firing back, but Matsy just has to clear anything to get some garbage on it. His stack is up there, but it's definitely not the end of the world. He can clear those yellows for a 2-chain and start building his way down. Matsy has to press his advantage pretty hard right now. If he can send like a big 2-chain or something like that, see if he can block it, it might be okay. But that's enough. Clear. Newbie had his death column almost full, and the one line of garbage was enough to finish it. It is 1-1 in this set. Good job to Matsy. Newbie continuing down his path of GTR. Matsy sets up a 2-chain. He sends a bunch of garbage. It's not the end of the world though. His trigger is a little bit caught up there though. And it might be a little bit tricky for him to get in. Matsy keeps putting on the pressure though. His stuff is, Newbie's stuff is covered. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get out. He decides, except he does, yeah, he just decides to fire off the chain and get out. This is going to be a 5-chain. Matsy is going to get a whole bunch of garbage piled on him. That should be enough to fill the board. Yeah, he is basically dead at this point. Yeah, that was a sick recovery. Good on Newbie for actually seeing the way out of that. All right, Newbie continuing to build GTR as all amateur Puyo players do. Matsy sends a big 1-chain. Or an 8 Puyo 1-chain. Newbie's GTR is still open, his trigger is still there. He decides to cover it up to try to build bigger with those blues. Matsy is starting to build some stairs here. He fires them off. Oh, and Newbie covered up his trigger. He can get out of this. And now he's not getting out of this. He missed his rotation. He definitely could have. If he rotated that a little bit better, he could have done more. Oh, but Matsy fires a 3-chain, and it is 2-2 in this set. This set is pretty close. Newbie's getting a little bit greedy here. All right. Newbie continuing down the GTR path. I definitely don't blame him, because if I see a GTR in my starting few pieces, I'd probably go for it too. Matsy doesn't have too much right now. Okay, he'll set a 2-chain up to actually cover it up. And Newbie starts a. This looks like a 5-chain. Yeah, this is a 5-chain. And Matsy doesn't really have anything to contest it. He is not dead, but no, never mind. He is basically dead. And Newbie takes the first game in the set. That was super close though. There were some clutch plays by Matsy. It just goes to show that like even if your chaining ability is a lot better, even if you know certain patterns, sometimes just getting a little bit of garbage dumped on you in like regular intervals might just be all you need to clutch anything out. Because all you need to do is cover the trigger and make sure that they can't get to it. And suddenly things start looking in your favor. Newbie building another GTR. Matsy piling some pieces together. He's going to get a 2-chain for his troubles. No, not quite an all clear there, but that's okay. He's going to send a 6 Puyo 1-chain. Newbie has his stuff covered again. He's been not very careful in like how he's stacking his garbage. If he can get to those blues and be able to start his chain, then he's probably in a good position. No, not quite. He actually has a little bit of a broken link with those greens in the middle there, so it's not going to be as big as he wants it to be. But if Matsy just keeps sending that small amount of garbage, keep covering up those triggers, maybe he might actually be in a little bit of trouble here. But oh no. Oh, the garbage made him miss the trigger. But this is gonna be. Oh, it's not even much. He cleared too many pieces on the left, and suddenly, like, he didn't have much of a chain there. But the remnants of the GTR is still there. He can clear the blues to start the chain, but it's only a 3 chain at most, unless he can get another green. Meanwhile, Matsi is continuing, continuing just to play solid, clear garbage, clear pieces, build small chains, send some stuff down. Newbie is pretty piled up on the right now, which is actually not bad. It means that Matsi's going to have to send a lot of garbage to clear it, whereas Newbie still has a whole bunch of pieces there. Newbie sends a 3 chain back. This game has been going for a decent amount of time, so it's going to send a decent amount of garbage. Matsi's stack is piled up pretty high at this point. It's possible to get out, but he's got to work for it. He's still going. He needs the yellow. If he had rotated a different way, he could have lasted a little bit longer, but he was basically dead at this point. Good play on both sides, though. Newbie setting up yet another GTR. Matsi just continuing to stack. We'll see if he can set up a 2 chain and see if he can harass some stuff. Newbie has his GTR transition. It's a little bit wonky because the 2 yellows on the left are a little bit high. Now he's gonna have a little bit of trouble getting at that trigger though, because of that blue at the top. See if he can find a way out of it. Meanwhile, Matsi is continuing to stack. Is going to set up a 2 chain here. Newbie is going to get a 2 chain of his own, but the garbage is still blocking off the trigger, and he gets another one in that column. If he can get there, he's going to be in a decent position. But Matsi's pile is still really low. If he can keep setting off 2 chains and keep piling up on top of that trigger, he can still take this game. It can still go either way. That said, Matsi doesn't have enough. He doesn't even have enough Puyos for a 2 chain on the board. But Newbie's trigger is still covered. It's still covered. He's got to deal with that 1 piece of garbage. Okay, now all Newbie has to do is clear the blues, and we're in a heap of trouble. But he covered it up. Now he has to clear the reds. He needs 1 red, and he gets it. And there's the chain. 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's the star, and that's going to fill up the board. Oh. Matsi's pushing really hard. If he can play a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive, he might be able to take more games here. Meanwhile, Newbie is setting up bad GTR now. But he started to patch it up a little bit. He has set up the thing to the left now. His purple is the trigger, but he's got a color conflict there with those other purples. So he kind of has to. He is ending his chain right there and just building upwards from that. Meanwhile, Matsi is just clearing stuff on the left. He's not sending much garbage though. He needs to at least send a chain to start covering things up. Newbie sends a 4 chain. Yeah, Newbie sends a 4 chain. He still has a decent pile. He just he clears out those blues, and it looks like this set is over at this point. There's a 3. Yep, and there goes the death column. Good job to Matsi. Played a really good first set. Made it really, really close, but it wasn't quite enough for the second game. Is this winners? And it looks like, well, Matsi is still in the tournament, though. He still has a loser's bracket to play through. But good job to Newbie, good job to Matsi, and we'll see what's next.
I can. How many monitors do you need?
Homo would like at least.
Yeah, I know he wanted 1 from me. Can it be my Hori portable, or do you want a real monitor? I can bring a real one. It's fine. Hey Jeff, am I holding up the bracket at this point? It's a 5-man bracket. Oh, okay.
At your service.
Sick. Yeah, yeah. Let me do the names, but otherwise, yeah.
Messi on the left.
On the right, what's your tag? What's your tag? Oh, Sam Danger? Okay. All right. Go for it. All right. Next we have Matsi versus Sam Danger. Matsi has been continuing to show some pretty solid, some pretty solid play. He's been able to like consistently send garbage down. And Sam Danger, we'll see what he can do. He is kind of stacking things down. He's keeping colors together for the most part. He is the start of a 2-chain there if he can clear those blues. Meanwhile, Matsi has already sent out his first bit of garbage. His stack is pretty low right now. Sam does set off his 2-chain. Meanwhile, Matsi, it looks like he's building stairs at this point. See what he does with. Oh, he's just going to continue building on the left. And set that off for the 1-chain. Ah, okay. And meanwhile, Matsi is starting to get like a pretty big pile. If he can probably get a decent chain if he sets something off here. But he's probably gonna put a blue on top of the purples. Now he's gonna set off, and if he sets off the purples, oh, this is gonna be a big 2-chain. That is two rows of garbage for a 2-chain. That is a lot for that. Then he sends off a pretty big 1-chain, but it only sends off 3 pieces of garbage here. Sam is starting to stack down a little bit. He doesn't really have too much in the way of chains at this point. Meanwhile, Matsi can get a 2 if he clears the greens, and he opts for it. Sam has a bunch of Puyo stacked up. He can clear the greens for a 2-chain, but it's kind of hard for him to build on top of that. I say that as he sets off a pretty big 2-chain, sends 3 rows onto Matsi's board, and Matsi's got to start over with less space. But it looks like he's grouping them. Looks like he's able to group a bunch together here. Not too much in the way of a chain right now, but he's getting Puyos together and he's starting to dig back down. There's a 2. Sam also sent a 2 that was a little bit bigger. Matsi sends off a 1 for a single piece of garbage. Sam's board is entirely blues and purples, which is really interesting. Meanwhile, Sam sends off a small thing. Matsi's board is full of garbage right now. He can still dig his way out. He still doesn't have too much in the way of chain potential at this point. He can clear off those blues for a 2-chain, opts to send off a big 1-chain with the yellows instead, sends 2 rows of garbage with that. I guess margin time is starting to kick in here. This round has been going for a while. Yeah, Matsi's board is looking pretty tight. He can still get out of this, but it's going to take a little bit of work. Groups the greens together. He's going to have to group the blues together. He can put the greens on the right, but he also just opts to clear the blues. That way, we are still going here. And it looks like I was watching the actual stream, which was on a little bit of a delay. So, yeah, it looks like Matsi took the first game. I am going to switch back over to S here so I can actually see live. And looks like Sam has built a little bit on the left here. Opsa sets off the 1-chain. Yeah, Matsi's going to set off the yellows for a 2. Sam's board is full of a lot of garbage right now. He can definitely still build out of it, but he doesn't really have all that much to go with right now. Meanwhile, Matsu's board is pretty clean, and he can start setting up whatever he wants, but he doesn't have too much right now. He opts to set up the green for a 1 chain. It's not going to send much in the way of garbage. And Sam is continuing to clear down his garbage. Neither side has too much right now. Matsu will clear the yellows for a 2. Sam just takes the garbage. Matsu is going to set off a bigger 2 chain here for a row and almost 2 rows of garbage. Matsu sends a 2 chain. Sam clears a little bit back. Sam's board is a little bit higher up, can potentially get a little bit out of this, but he doesn't have too much going for him right now. Meanwhile, Matsu looks like he's about to setting up something very stairs-like. Sets off a 2 chain there. Is he gonna set off? Yeah, he's gonna set off an 8 combo there to send down even more garbage. Sam has like 1 big pile on the right. He can clear off those blues for something and just try to get a stack down a little bit lower. Almost sends off a 2 chain. The red fell a little bit too low. Matsu is going to send a 3 chain, and I think that's going to take this round. All right, it is 1-1 in game 1. Matsu building up, trying to build up some stairs of some sorts. Sam just trying to group Puyos together and see if he can get something out of it. Matsu sends off a 2 chain. Covers up the board, but the blues are still there. There's still no chain free if you clear the blues, though, so he's got to pile up something a little bit bigger with it. He just clears the blues right now, try to freeze up some space. Stacks some greens on top of it. He's going to clear the greens for a 2 chain. Matsu is, if he can get a yellow, he can get a pretty nice 2 chain out of that. Is he going to go for it? Yep. Oh, no, he had a bit of a color conflict. He's going to send a little bit less garbage that way. If he'd moved the blue over to the left, it would have been a 2 chain. It would have probably sent about a row. Meanwhile, Sam Danger able to clear down his board a little bit, send over a 2 chain. It covers up a little bit of a pile, but Matsu's main trigger for a 2 chain is still active on either side. He can clear off those blues for something. Let's see if he decides to go for it or go for something a little bit bigger. And now he lost the 2 chain, but sets up a different one with the red and the yellow. Matsu's board definitely looks a lot lower. Sam Danger can potentially get something if he starts clearing out that garbage a little bit, but he's definitely got to work a little bit harder for it. Matsu gets a 3, is able to send 2 rows of garbage back, blocking off that column on the left. That's going to be a little bit tricky to get out of, though. There isn't too much there. So he's just opting to clear some garbage, bring the stack down a little bit. Sam, in the meantime, if he clears off those blues, he gets at least a 2 chain out of it. He might even be able to set up something a little bit bigger. Not quite anymore. But he's going to set up the blues, get a 2 for his trouble. Yeah, it's just a 2. But Matsu is able to set off a 3, and that's going to send a bunch of garbage back. Yeah, Sam's board is looking a little bit high. He can still get out of this, but it's going to be a little bit tricky. You've got to play pretty quickly and pretty efficiently to start getting out of that. Because in the meantime, Matsu can still keep piling up and send more garbage. He's been pretty consistent, at least getting 2 chains down. So it's just a matter of continuing that down. Sam looks like he's starting to clear that board down, though. If he can set something up on top of those blues, it would be something pretty interesting here. Matsu sets off some greens for a 1. Oh, he's gonna set off a big 2 here. Yeah, it looks like margin time is definitely starting to kick in. Oh, this is gonna be big. This is gonna be big. Sam is dead. So what margin time is if the game has been going for about 90 some seconds, I think it's like 98 seconds or something like that, suddenly like the same amount of chain just starts sending more garbage, and I think it's every 90 or so seconds. That amount of garbage you get for the amount that you clear keeps increasing. So the longer a game goes, the easier it is to just die by a random 2-chain or even a 3-chain. Sam sends a 2-chain back. And his stack is pretty low, but looks like Messi's getting something kind of decent here. If he clearing those yellows is probably going to lead to something interesting, probably a 3-chain. And we'll see if he can figure out how to build bigger than that. Oh, he's leaving the purples alone. Good for him. He recognizes that there's a 3-chain there. He just needs to actually start it. And that's going to be a 2-chain because he should have put the purple over on the left. But that's fine because this is going to be another big 2-chain. It's going to send a little bit of garbage, cover up the stack a little bit, but Sam's trigger is still there. He could have cleared off the yellows for a 2, but he didn't quite see it. Matsi is going to set up a 2, just keep that pressure up, keep sending that garbage down. Meanwhile, Sam is currently like trying to clear off the garbage on the right. I think he's trying to clear off that piece of garbage over there for a 2. No, he's just opting to clear those yellows instead. He's going to clear those yellows for a 1. Meanwhile, Matsi has sent over a 2. He's going to send over one more with a piece of garbage just for one more garbage piece. It gets nullified. And it looks like he's starting, if he clears those yellows, it's going to be a 3-chain. Maybe something bigger at this rate. No, he got a little scared and decided to clear that off instead. And now his yellows get covered up. He needs to find a way to get at those yellows to get something decent. Actually, there isn't too much there anymore now that stuff has fallen a little bit further, so it's probably a little bit of a wash, but it's fine because he's going to clear those purples for a big 2 here. That's 4 rows of garbage. Sam's in a little bit of trouble because that column is going to be annoying to stack into. Puts the double greens on the right. Oh, and Matsi gets a 2, and that's going to fill up the board. Matsi takes the first game. It is 1-0. So the start of the second set, Matsi is starting to group Puyos together, try to get a 2-chain out of it. He does. Meanwhile, Sam is just going to get a little bit of garbage on him. He's going to clear the 1, but it doesn't stop any garbage from falling. Just clears the board a little bit, and Matsi gets an all clear. Good for him. So Matsi should probably try to see if he can build like a little bit to try to make it worth a little bit more. No, he just gets the 1-chain. That's fine. That's still going to send 5 rows of garbage. And he's going to clear off those yellows. It's going to be a power 2-chain, and this game is over. Good job, good job being able to set up for that all clear. We're starting game 2, Sam. Sam is building up on the left, might turn into something maybe a little stairs-like, but we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, Matsi is continuing to build something that is also very stairs-like. Will only get a 2-chain for his trouble. But he is continuing to stack, opts not to clear the 1-chain and try to go for something bigger. He's going to put the purple-yellow over there. He's going to clear the purples for a 2. Meanwhile, Sam doesn't have too much of a board right now. It doesn't help that keeps getting bombarded by the small amounts of garbage. Matsi going to send another 2-chain, and that's gonna cover up the board a little bit more. It's not completely debilitating, but it's gonna be a little bit tricky to get something out of it. Sam opts to clear some of the garbage to free up the yellows. Meanwhile, Matsi is starting to get a 2-chain ready. That could have turned into a 3. Oh, it's a 4! Oh, this is gonna be big. It's gonna be big. It's gonna send a bunch of garbage, and Sam is not dead, but oh man, it's gonna be hard to get out of that. If Matsi can keep up the pressure with like one more 2-chain, or Sam can just top out right there. All right, Matsi is on set point. Matsi starting to set up some stairs. Is he? Yeah, he's going to clear the 2-chain just to get some initial garbage going. Matsi currently starting to set up something kind of big here. If he can clear those blues, that's going to be real interesting. Oh, he opts to go a different way instead, and he's just going to get 2 chains instead of a bigger chain. But it's okay, because Sam's board is getting pretty full here. It's going to be a little bit tricky for him to get out of it. If Matsi can set off like one more chain here, it's gonna spell a lot of trouble here, and he has a good chance of taking the set. Oh, but but Sam's garbage ends up covering it up a little bit. He still has a way out. Clearing the yellows will actually start the chain. See if he notices it. He does. This is going to be a 3-chain, and that's probably enough to fill the board. Yep, he is not getting out of that. That was some really good play by Matsi, and that was a good set. He takes it 2-0. All right. Yeah, that was a good set. So Matsi keeps going through losers, and we'll see what we get next. All right.
And then
All right.
I clicked the
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I've been doing that. Do you want to be on the left or the right?
I'll be on the right.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
All right, it looks like next we have Harpoon Cannon versus Noob Hope. Harpoon Cannon, definitely a strong player, has a decent chance of being able to take this entire tournament. Got me 2-0 in winners and was the one that ended up sending me to losers. That said, Noob Hope is no slouch himself. It's really going to be a matter of, I guess, like who gets their stuff up faster, who ends up choking a little bit less, and who it just ends up playing better Puyo. But this should be a really good set. Okay. And because this is winners finals, this is going to be first to 3 games instead of first to 2. But it looks like Harpoon Cannon plays Puyo on a stick on PS4, which is pretty cool. I have done a little bit of attempting to play Puyo on stick before, and it did not particularly end well for me.
definitely can play the game a lot better on a pad. But each to their own. If you can play the game on stick, definitely good for you. You get slightly faster rotations that way. But let's see how this set goes. This is definitely gonna be a lot faster paced than the last set because both of these players definitely know how to chain. So we'll see what we can get out of this. All right, both are opting to set up GTRs as we are wont to do. Harpoon Cannon just decides to set it off instead, while Newbie actually does have the GTR set up. So right now the greens are the trigger. Let's see if Harpoon Cannon can actually do something with it. He doesn't really have too much of a chain right now, whereas Newbie can definitely just clear off those yellows and start for something big. Oh, but he gets enough garbage to cover it. He got a little bit too greedy, but he's not dead yet. He's getting some pretty good pieces here. He just needs to get at those yellows, and it's close. He needs one more piece. Oh! He just barely gets it off in time. We'll see if it's enough, though, because Harpoon was actually able to send a 6 out of it. Oh, it wasn't actually enough. Oh, and Harpoon Cannon takes the first round. That was good stuff. I didn't think Harpoon Cannon would get a 6 chain out of that. So here we go, another GTR opening. Newbie opting to set up some sandwiches on the right. Meanwhile, Harpoon Cannon is kind of focusing on the left a little bit more. He's probably going to set up some small stairs that way. Oh, that's going to be pretty big at the end. If Harpoon Cannon see if he opts to set those purples off, or he's going to wait for something bigger. Meanwhile, Newbie's trigger is a little bit buried, but if he can get... yes! Okay, that does start the chain. I think Newbie's chain is a little bit bigger here. There's a 7, and it was enough to send it back. Harpoon Cannon's going to eat a lot of garbage, and Newbie just has to clean up, and he cleans up well. Newbie takes the second round. This is good. This is going to be a good set. All right, we are into round 3. More GTR. They're kind of setting up at about the same pace here. I think Harpoon Cannon setting up a little bit faster. Harpoon Cannon just decides to set up a 2-chain and start over, send some harassment over. Newbie's trigger is buried, but it's not too bad. He just needs to set up something with some blues on top of it, just like he did right there. So he can set up the purples and the greens, and then the blues will go and actually clear it. But his chain is going to end at those greens in the corner there. Meanwhile, Harpoon Cannon has started his chain, and Newbie did not have enough Puyos to actually get his chain going. So Harpoon Cannon is up 2-1 in this game. All right, they are continuing to set up GTR. Newbie opting to set up a little bit differently though, doing it with the blues instead of Harpoon Cannon's reds. Harpoon Cannon manages to very nicely avoid the color conflict of just going purple, red, purple. Meanwhile, Newbie is definitely setting up stuff on the left. He is now, he hasn't quite covered his trigger. No, he hasn't covered his trigger because now he can set off those reds to start his chain, but now he gets his trigger buried, but that's okay because he's just going to send off the yellows. Meanwhile, Harpoon Cannon still has a start here. He's going to set off the blues and start his chain, and unless there's a break in it, and I don't see one, this is going to be bigger. Yep, 7, 8, 9, and there's a 10 chain, and Harpoon Cannon takes game 1. Good stuff. Good. All right. Boards are mostly the same right now. A slight difference in the green placements. Newbie definitely building to the right. Well, they're both starting to extend to the right. Both have their trigger on that yellow piece right there.
Newbie opts to send off his chain kind of quickly, and they're both just firing. It's hard to tell who's bigger right now. I think these are the same. Oh no! Harpoon with the 8 chain, and ended in a power chain. So yeah, he had one more link, and it was a pretty big link at that. So that was just enough to take game 1 or round 1 of game 2.
Going ahead.
Both of them are setting up their GTRs. They both just going. They both have a little bit going after that. Meanwhile, looks like Newbie has a chain going on the right, and it looks pretty big. I don't think Harpoon Cannon has a big enough chain to cover it. But we'll see. It's a pretty big 4, but it's definitely not big enough. That star is still out, and that star is going to stay out until he dies. We start a new round here. Harpoon Cannon opting to not go GTR and actually go for something different. What it is, I'm not actually sure yet. Oh, okay. That's gonna be a quick harassment. And Newbie doesn't really have a way out of it. Doesn't really have a way to deal with it. So he's just gonna opt to like start sending stuff down. Oh, it was 2 chains was all it took. Harpoon Cannon up 2-1 in game 2. So this is gonna be first. It's gonna be first to 3 because it's winners finals. But Harpoon Cannon still has a pretty decisive lead in the set. He is on set point of game 2. Here's off a big 4 chain. Newbie is not fast enough to be able to catch up to that. And Harpoon Cannon takes game 2, 3-1. Newbie's not playing badly here. Like he's definitely like he has shown that he is clearly able to chain. He's not quite fast enough for Harpoon Cannon. Newbie might want to try setting up stuff on the side, just set up a little bit of harassment, see if he can block Harpoon Cannon's trick. To see if he can even it up that way if he can't chain fast enough. But if he can't do that, he's probably going to get out-chained most of the time because Harpoon Cannon is a little bit faster than and Harpoon Cannon is going to set up probably a 7. Yeah, this is a 7 chain. Oh, but Newbie sent a 7 chain of his own. He still gets a little bit of garbage because Harpoon's is a little bit bigger, but he is still in this game, and this game is still going. Harpoon Cannon gets a nice, Killer Ice is the name of the 3 power chain. And Newbie is in a stick of trouble. He's probably not going to last too long here. All Harpoon has to do, clear the reds, clear pretty much anything. He can, go to round 2. Harpoon Cannon is up 2-0. Newbie opting to try something different, try to build not GTR. Meanwhile, Harpoon Cannon is just continuing with the first build GTR. Newbie actually gets some harassment down, which is pretty good. Harpoon Cannon's trigger is pretty blocked right now, and if Newbie can keep pushing keep the pressure up, he might actually be able to take this round. Harpoon Cannon's stack is pretty high, but he gets a 2 chain to try to bring some of that down. Newbie gets a 3 chain to keep the pressure up. Oh, he got a little bit unlucky in how the garbage went down, but like Harpoon Cannon is still kind of alive, and now he's definitely not alive. So good job with Newbie being able to send off some quick garbage really back and just with it. And hopefully he can use out of this, try to prolong the set a little bit longer. He is now 2 losses away from getting sent. Harpoon Cannon is starting to build It looks like he's starting to build like an interesting Hellfire kind of thing. This is gonna be a little bit big, but it's too much. Doobie sends off a pretty big 3-chain, or 4-chain, 5-chain! Oh! Harpoon Cannon sends off a 3 to try to mitigate some of it, but his board is still pretty high up here. And Newbie, you gotta send a little bit more than a 1-chain to fill up the board. Like, send a 2, send something to just fill up that board. Harpoon Cannon's starting to dig out a little bit. Oh, but he covers up his trigger. He doesn't have any, he can try, but doesn't have anything at this point. Newbie is leading in a game for probably the first time this entire set. He is up 2-1. So if he wins the next rounds, he can keep himself alive. Harpoon Cannon starts to set up GTR. Newbie setting up a 2-chain kind of thing on the setting up some kind of a tall 2-chain on the left, probably deal with early harassment. Oh, but his trigger gets buried anyway. He's going to have a little bit of a tricky time trying to get into that. But he's starting to work his way down through the garbage. But currently, Harpoon Cannon press a little bit more. He has a 4-chain ready and he just sets it off. I don't think actually. Yep, he's clearing things a little bit at a time. And yeah, he can't get out of that. So it is 2-2 in game 3. Harpoon Cannon is on set point, and Newbie needs to win this to have any chance of staying in set. Newbie is just starting to set up things on the right. It's not really quite a 2. Oh, okay. He's gonna set off the reds and try to set something that way. This is gonna be. This is a nice 4-chain. Is able to set things back. Thank you. And he definitely has less garbage on the. Let's set something up with it. Harpoon Cannon sent. It's not gonna block any. Set up. Like it's gonna be a 2. Sets it up. Yeah. Harpoon Cannon sends back a 3 zone and follows it with another 2. Newbie's board is a little bit high. But he can definitely still do things with it. He's gonna send a 3 right back. Harpoon Cannon sends off a big 2 to mitigate the entire 3 back. Newbie clears off a 1. He's just trying to clear some stuff down. Clears off another 1, but doesn't actually get out of it. Harpoon Cannon is going to set off. This is going to be a big key. And there's some garbage. He is not dead yet, but he might as well be. He is running out of space, running out of peace, and he's running out of hope. And Newbie Hope is now without hope. And Harpoon Cannon decides to clear off this, like, style on him, clear off the chain after he's dead. And Harpoon Cannon takes this set 3-0. Good play. Newbie did a really good job adjusting in that, but it wasn't quite enough. Good play on both sides, though. That was despite how one-sided the set count was, that was super exciting to watch. There was some really close calls there. And it sounds like probably loser semis is next. I'm assuming loser semis is next, which means I think I am playing Metsi. So I'm gonna go play my set.
I think I started.
One, two, one, one, two, one. One, two, three. Frost!
Okay.
One, two, one. Thrashing time! One, two. Oh no! One, two. One. Oh no! One, two. Thrashing time! Was there ever any doubt?
All right. Starting off with an all clear. Just to let everybody that is not know, my name is commentary. Because it's going to be a little while until I get to play my last couple of matches. So right now we are having Natsu and Taku Chicken at a 3 out of 5 because
One, two. One,
Taku Chicken covered in a lot of garbage. Still
one.
able to dig. Both of the players are about the same. So not really too much of an advantage one over the other right now. We're just going to kind of see what happens.
One. Oh no! One, two. One. Oh no! One, two. Thrashing time! One, two. One.
Oh, that was the worst possible spot for that garbage
Any doubt?
ball in column 5 from Matse, costing him the second round there.
One, two. No!
Grand. There. I want to make it.
One. One.
Matse's going ahead and dropping that 3 chain. He has a 2 chain hence, so that's still going to cover up a lot. Not too much. I'm talking to the side. I see that double blue coming up, so stay for just a moment.
One, two.
Power 2 is enough to 1 nuisance go back over, buying some time there.
One.
Oh, they need.
One.
There's 1, and they've got it.
Two. One. Two. One. Two. One. One. Two. One.
They're looking for that red on the other side.
Two. Thrashing time. One. Oh no. One. Two.
Ooh, and he pops that bigger part of the chain. I'm not so sure how much of this is going to have to build up. He needs reds on top of the green to make this chain work.
One.
He's all the way, Matse is almost all the way at the top. He needs just more green, which he has in his 2, and he rotates it, buying himself just a little bit more time there.
One. Two. Two.
And Talking Chicken releases the entire chain, and that is the round and the game.
Any doubt?
All right, game number 2 is right underway. Talking Chicken opting to go with the GTR setup. Matsy is kind of sort of freestyling here. Who opted for the 2 chain, maybe trying to block those. Not quite successful, still able to build around that rather easy. One more green top, but I'm not so sure if Talking Chicken realizes it yet. And that is good. Opts to pop that. Thinking that they know they have to pop that red now. I believe that they were just digging around. Talking Chicken might have this. Ooh, nice power to. Column 1 for Matsy is a little bit iffy right now, but if they are able to pop yellows, they could get a really nice power chain going. Oh, nope, Talking Chicken has the entire chain free. That will be around.
Was there ever any doubt?
Purple is needed on top of those blues to make that a functional chain. Gonna try and launch a Rash there. Matsy's side. Unfortunately, that is the whole entire chain, and that's gonna call that round.
Was there ever any doubt?
Okay. So they stacked that up a little bit strangely. They would have had to go on to, ooh, they had the, but unfortunately not get to it in time. But Matsy's gonna have to take this over to have a chance, and they got it. They're gonna risk it. I would not have risked that either.
1, 2, 1, 3.
Ooh, yep, that is the full chain there, so that is gonna be that round as well. And I believe that is that will be a GG.
Was there ever any doubt?
Okay. Oh, maybe. Nazi state. All right, and after a quick name swap there to make sure everybody is correctly on the left and right, we are back into the action.
Let's go.
Got Talking Chicken on the left this time and Hope on the right. Shout outs to Newbie Hope for tossing this game into the tournament lineup. It was basically a lineup game. So he tossed it into the hat, and one of the first Puyo locals that I've ever been to up here at the Seattle Gameworks. Thank you very much for tuning in. Got a lot. Loving, spreading the love of Puyo Puyo to everyone on the internet.
You know what you should do?
What's that?
Oh,
They asked me if I'm wearing a Puyo shirt. I am not. I do have one, kinda. So I don't know. We'll see about that later on. All right, and just like that, we are getting this underway. It looks like Talking Chicken is again kind of sort of going with a GCR setup. I believe it might have been a small misdrop, but he's kind of sort of rocking it. Newbie Hope going with a little bit more of a just damage that correctly. It looks like about a 5-chain so far, and he is launching his 5-chain. So he needs the purples, and he will farm for them. That chain will be getting sent back. And 5. How much is that? Only 1.5 rows, so that's not too decisive. A fair amount out of this garbage here. That is going down to a 4-chain, and there's too much garbage covered there, so that will sound good.
Someone owes me an apology.
Still needing purple in column 4. He hit launching this. Yep, that means it requires 2 are in the window, but not quite fast enough to get in. With reds on top, that can kind of go for tight. Happy might get it. There's 3 purples in the window. Will he be able to rotate? I don't think so. That is the second round.
Was there ever any doubt?
Is that going to go down to a 6-chain? Yes, those greens are going to connect. But I believe that this is going to... I'm not actually sure. It's not going to be enough. Oh, it was enough. Just barely. 2 garbage proof dropping down, so anybody's around. The blues on top in columns 1 and 2 will fall down to link with are at the bottom. The thing is, this chain is getting launched right now, and that's going to go down to a 5. Oh no, I apologies. Down to a 6, so that is the third chain.
Someone owes me an apology.
The wonderful thing about this is that even looking out at these guys, they're both having a wonderful time. Like, they're just like enjoying the fact that they're playing Puyo, and that's the most beautiful thing of all. So we got Talking Chicken building this GTR again. Purple are a little bit there, however, yellows all in one not built to move hope yet, so that's a bit of hope. Those were very favorable colors that just popped in. They're now needing red to that chain, but no purple columns 4 and 5. That was a big thorn, a full row there plugging up the purple. Still able to dig around it, but sending out small harasses. We shall see that GTR still looking so sad on Talking Chicken, but he got the the purple for it. It's getting sent out. That Power 5 is going to send that back with a rock and a row, and that is not going to be decisive quite yet, but we shall see what happens. Much more resources free on Talking Chicken's side, however, Column 5's garbage is looking pretty easily diggable. He's just going to need to have yellows or purples down there. Now the only option is purple. Oh, is he going to try to sandwich the yellow into it? That is the only other option. Very nice with the on Movie Hope. However, the Power 2 chain is getting sent out from Talking Chicken to try to block some of those. Now unable to use column 14, no yellow up, and the harass is strong. That's dropping it down to tie it 2-2.
Was there ever any doubt?
And this is the tiebreaker. Both opponents starting it off almost the same way. Both going with a little bit more of our builds. We'll see who does. Lacking with the blues in column 3 and 4. And the reds are now popping. That's a chain and still high enough to be garbage. If he is able to yellow on top, that makes it impossible. Will he get another blue to be able to dig this out? Or will he use the try and use the greens here, but I don't think it's enough blue. Unfortunately, that is the top out, costing that. There's a bunch of laughter coming from over there, though. I love
Was
it.
there ever any doubt?
Depends on how much I.
All right. Both going again with the GTRs. Piled upon him. Have a build. Eliminating purple and green. Each. We hope with the greens on top, however, that will not work because of that garbage piece. Going to have to link the blues. And we hope gets a chain, but the garbage is blocking, however, covered enough of Talking Chicken's chain to make it a small problem. And coming out to clear this garbage, it's still 2 garbage pieces high, so he's going to have to clear out those blues before he gets to R. He gets to it. Is he going to pop it? He does opt to pop it. And it is still not quite enough to be very. Hope is worth a lot more resources on his board than Talking Chicken. The green is still accessible. He's going to need to have a blue put on top, but he opts to pour garbage instead. Rather large 3-pin coming out, and is going to block the blues. However, it's still decent accessible. We'll see if Movie is able to build around. Very nice with on top. Still going to need to have something to dig out of this. He opts to go with the blues there. He has a functioning two chain here, Talking Chicken's board, but that is a rather large three chain that's coming out. That's not going to link anything. It covers almost the entire board. I think that might be. Talking Chicken screams one piece off. Very, very close. You all have to remember, in the world of Puyo, that's just how the game goes. It is more often than not always just one single piece off. Y'all got to get a little bit faster. So Newbie Hope kind of freestyling a three and top it off while he knows that the GR on Talking Chicken side is not so. Still extending. It's going to pop the red. Yes, he does. That's going to go down to a power 5. It's a rather strong power 5, and you have no red on the top. Talking Chicken, unfortunately, that's going to be that round as well. All right, this is match point here. What's happening? Able to clean up that round, and those with the reds on the GR this time around. The purple on top was the best bet there, so that is ahead of Newbie Hope. Opts to stack that third high. All that he pop that with that godlike yellow and purple, I believe. Ooh. I thought that that was going to continue all the way down, unfortunately. Hope is able to clean up that set. Then I think that puts us at 1. Whichever one this one is going to. Ooh, that's a very strong power 3 thing there. Not getting the yellow in time. Maybe host board goes down. Alright, getting the AABB start, so that's our department. Both players will. Opting to not pop any. Very careful. Unfortunately, still gives himself small amounts of color content there, but pops it out. That's the. So let's take a look. Got the reds prepared. All he needs to have is a purple on top. Both chains very freely accessible, and he opts to do a power 2 chain. Not fast enough on that red, so that 3 chain will clean up this board, and that will be him down. And this is match point. We shall see there if Luke opens it, got all the stops and pulls back. Starting off with the dog once again, unfortunately, below at the bottom of the column. Problematic. He's going to have to extend this rather well in order to get that GR. No red, no fourth red in column 3 is going to be an issue. Going to go down to a 5 chain. If Talking Chicken links the green, there is the trigger there. Excuse me, a power 4 chain. There's no purple there, no green there. That will be a.
Oh no! Was there ever any doubt?
Who just won? Who just won the set? That was Talking Chicken. So that's you two and Newbie one. Yes. Okay. Oh, this is 3 out of 5. Oh, my apologies. We have more Puyo action. This is not 2 out of 3. This is at the point where it is best 3 out of 5. I think it's because this is losers finals. And then I believe whoever wins this ends up going to winners finals. That's going to be a 4 chain. Does he have the yellows for it? Unfortunately, he does not, and that board goes down.
I mean, it could take
Oh no! Was there ever any doubt?
Unfortunately, a 3 versus a 5 is not going to cut it, and Talking Chicken's board goes down, tying this round, this game, 1-1. Starting this right back up. Ooh, very favorable colors here for another GTR, but Talking Chicken opts to go flatter this time, rather interesting. Doobie Hope is rocking a stair stack here. I love seeing stairs. Only thing that he is going to need now is a purple for the trigger, and he is going to blast it right now because he's just strong enough to be functioning to take him down, and that's going to 5.
Someone owes me an apology.
no. That was my. No.
Well, there goes the 5 chain. This is going to go down to a 4, and it will be enough to neutralize garbage and not take the L. We're going to have to see what Talking Chicken does here. That's another 2 chain, only dropping 1 row of garbage. Not blocking the yellow, but he opts to not put a piece there. Blocking with purple. That is the round. Okay. Well, that puts Newbie Hope and Talking Chicken both at 2, which means that this is a set that is going side the one that advances. Starting off again, star on the left side. Newbie Hope is starting to do a little bit different, going with the stair stack. Stairs in Puyo, as a small little lesson, are very, very reliable to game. There's nothing wrong with using stairs, and they can fire it off from the left to the right or the right to the left, depending on the way that you build them. And in that case, it helped them chain that was 5 or higher very fast. Usually the player that ends up launching a 5 chain first is the one that ends up winning, if the opposing player doesn't have anything else that they can set back. Again, Newbie Hope rocking stairs, attempting to get that 4 or 5 chain out with a lot of power very fast again. Only a green on top. He's going more green to be able to send this. The double green, the 1 in 16 chance ends up popping out, but will it be enough to actually send back? He's missing a purple, otherwise it would have been. That is unfortunate. Sending a 2 chain there to clean up the rest of it, and that's going to be that round. He needs to get another green on top of that purple, opting with the yellow there. Newbie Hope is building this a little bit better and a little bit faster than Talking Chicken. We will have to see what the response on Talking Chicken. A lot is at stake. He's blocking the chain and firing off the purple. Unfortunately, that is what under what the 6 chain goes down to the 3 chain, and that is a G.
Someone owes me an apology.
All right, and it looks like I am up for my game. So, wish me luck, y'all.
All right. I'm a little. Can you desync the pad? Oh man. All right. All right. We are about to start grand finals here. We have Harpoon Cannon and winners versus Newbie Hope. Harpoon Cannon looking like the favorite right now, having basically blown away just about everyone here. But Newbie Hope has shown he can still take rounds. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent, be able to finish things off. So we'll see what happens here. And that set was super close, though.
Let's go.
All right, and it looks like grand finals has started. It's an all-clear start. Harpoon Cannon gets a slightly bigger all-clear because he cleared 6 instead of 4. That was pretty cool. Not often you get 3 of the exact same piece in the starts. Harpoon Cannon still is his all-clear. Newbie just fired off the garbage right away. And this is going to be a 4-chain with that all-clear garbage. And Newbie clears off a little bit. He is alive, question mark, but any small amount of garbage should be enough to finish him off. Kind of like that one right there. Yeah, Newbie can't do too much to finish that, or to get out of that. Good play in the first round. All right, start of round 2. Newbie starts building stairs. Harpoon Cannon goes with all reliable GTR. Newbie just fires off the stairs right away. Harpoon Cannon can just clear off the greens to start his thing. He is just slowly dropping it down. Is he going to let... Yeah, he's just going to let it fire. It's not enough, though. He gets some garbage on him, but he's still in an okay position. He is by no means dead. Newbie needs to keep that pressure up. Gets a big 2-chain here. Harpoon Cannon fires back with a 3-chain. Still gets a little bit of garbage falling.
Newbie is still putting that pressure up though. Fires off a 3-chain. Harpoon Cannon has to clear now in order to keep himself alive, and does. He sends a little bit of garbage back for his trouble. So this round is still going. Newbie is just trying as much as he can to just get a little bit of pressure to finish things off, but Harpoon Cannon is just building quickly enough to just counter whatever Newbie's trying to send with his own chains. Here comes another 2-chain from Harpoon Cannon, and he pulls it out. Newbie just wasn't quite fast enough to be able to like finish it off, and Harpoon Cannon was just able to keep surviving. Good for him. All right, so we're at the start of the next round here. Harpoon Cannon trying to set up a GTR. Pieces aren't quite agreeing with him, but he finds the way to keep it going. Newbie sends off some early garbage, but the trigger isn't quite covered yet. He can just clear the greens and be able to keep the chain going. So now all he has to do is clear those purples, and there goes the chain. I don't think Newbie has enough here to keep it going. He sends a power 3 chain. Meanwhile, Harpoon Cannon sends a power 7 chain. There's the stars, and there's a quick game 1, 3-0. All right, game 2. Harpoon Cannon opting for something different. Newbie going for the GTR right away. Harpoon Cannon sends off an early 2-chain just to harass a little bit, but Newbie's trigger is not covered. He can just clear off the blues, but he doesn't really have much past that. So he's... that said, Newbie is able to set off a 4-chain. The piece of garbage stops it from being a 5-chain, but Harpoon Cannon has to take the garbage. But he's currently working at building his way back down and trying to clear things out. Newbie just has to be a little bit aggressive here. Sends off a 2-chain. It's going to send off some garbage, fill off some rows. And he sends off another 2-chain, and that should take this round. All right, Newbie is on the board. He's got his work cut out for him, but like, if he keeps doing rounds like that, he can probably get somewhere here. Newbie opting to, looks like he's trying to set up some stairs here. And goes and actually sets off the stairs. Harpoon Cannon needs a bunch of purples if he wants to keep it going, and isn't able to get to his chain in time. He is not dead though. He got some very nice yellow drops to keep himself going. But his luck is running out. Oh no, he's still going. He sets off a 2-chain with a completely full board. But there goes Newbie with the power 3, and he is up 2-0, showing that yes, he does know how to play this game, and he knows how to fight back. I think Newbie has just abandoned the idea of trying to quickly set up GTRs, because Harpoon Cannon seems to be outpacing him at that, and he's just opting to just build lots of stairs and just set things up real fast. And it seems to be working out for him so far. He's just waiting for a purple on the right so he can set it off, but I have a feeling at this point it's not going to come fast enough. Harpoon Cannon's got a pretty big chain in front of him. 3, power 4, 5, but it's not enough. Harpoon Cannon fires back with an 8-chain, and there goes the board. Newbie just waiting a little bit too long for a purple, and Harpoon Cannon was able to build up past the chain that Newbie was threatening. Newbie is now trying something with... I think he wanted like a sandwich start or something, but it's not quite going the way he wanted. Harpoon Cannon sets up a Hellfire. Newbie gets a bunch of garbage on him, follows it up with a 2-chain. He's going to get even more garbage on top of this. He has a little bit of Puyos open, but it's going to be a little bit rough for him to get anything here. He's going to set off the purples, but they fall too low for a 2-chain. Sets off a power 1. And is trying to get something out there. seeing if he can set up the purples, maybe set up some kind of like a mini Hellfire, but he couldn't get anything fast enough. Harpoon Cannon bringing it back 2-2 in this game. Maybe continuing to try to build stairs, just because it seems to be a little bit more reliable. Has the chance to set up an interesting Hellfire type thing, but opts to just build stairs instead. So the start of his trigger is the yellows. He still needs another yellow and some greens. There's the yellow he's looking for. He's just gonna set off this yellow, and fire off. It looks like a 5-chain. Yeah, it's not gonna be anything past that. He needs to clear those yellows. And Harpoon Cannon looks like he has a. Oh, nobody broke it. It still sends more garbage than what Newbie could send. So he ends up being on. Newbie ends up being behind and having to dig out of some garbage here. Meanwhile, Harpoon Cannon can clear some purples for an easy 2-chain, but it looks like he cleared out the purples a different way for an easy 2-chain. Unfortunately, Harpoon Cannon's trigger is really buried right now, but Newbie has a lot of garbage coming his way, and it's going to be hard for him to get out of it. Yeah, this 2-chain should finish him off. Harpoon Cannon is now up 2-0 in the set. Newbie had a really good push in those first 2 games. It felt like switching. It felt like switching to stairs was starting to work out well for him, but he's still getting outbuilt when he's trying to set off the stairs. Harpoon Cannon is just ready with his trigger with a bigger chain. Newbie might want to try starting with potentially some smaller chains or something, just try to get a little bit of harassment. But we'll see what happens. Right now, Harpoon Cannon doesn't. Oh, Newbie was able to send off something very big quickly. I wasn't watching the board to see what was going on, but good for him. Yeah, he just needs to be fast. He just needs to set out some harassment faster. He doesn't necessarily we all want to try to build our chains faster, but in the end, as long as he can get something on the board and be able to cover cover the triggers, make Harpoon Cannon have to work a little bit more for his big chains. That'll end up working out really well for him. See, like that. Now Harpoon's board is covered a little bit. He doesn't really have a good way to his chain right now. So if Newbie can harass a little bit, just like he is doing right now, Harpoon Cannon gets. Oh no! Top 10 anime betrayals. That was a really good play by Harpoon Cannon. He found his way into his chains and was able to counter with something really big. Good for him. Harpoon opting to build GTR on the left. Newbie doing the same thing, slightly differently. He's got the greens. They both have a green trigger right now. Newbie has to watch out if he gets a little bit of garbage. His trigger might be covered a little bit too much. But right now all he has to do is set off the yellows to get something. But is he going to go for it? He's just going to go for it and hope. As is his tag. Sets off a 5-chain. Unfortunately, Harpoon Cannon was able to get to his trigger. There's the 5-chain right there. 6, 7, 8, 9? No, just 8. But even then, the star is still on the board. And that is enough to clear Newbie's board. He's got one. Newbie can only take one more loss before Harpoon Cannon takes the tournament. And he can it's definitely possible, but Harpoon Cannon has just been playing really, really solidly. Like, he's just been outpacing Newbie a little bit. And the times that he's been able to win is times when he was able to get a little bit of early garbage before Harpoon can actually reach his trigger. Unfortunately, Newbie's trigger is kind of buried right now. He needs something, because he's going to clear the purples. Oh, okay, there's a 4. I missed the 4. Unfortunately, oh no, this is only a 3. Harpoon Cannon got caught with a smaller chain. And Newbie was able to send a little bit of garbage, and now his trigger is actually buried. So if Newbie can start... Oh, he fires off his GTR. It's not much. It's a 4-chain. Harpoon Cannon was able to get there. The right side is falling. Oh, and he sets off a 5. And that board is full. And congratulations to Harpoon Cannon for winning the Gameworks 2020 Puyo Champions. That was a really good set, though. Newbie was fighting really hard to try to get things going, but Harpoon Cannon was always just a little bit faster and like a lot of the time just had his trigger. Good job to both players, though. All right, and that is. It sounds like that's going to be it for Puyo. Sounds like next we're going to have Blaze Blue Central Fiction. And sounds like that's it for me. I am Talking Chicken. It's been good to commentate this, and keep stacking.
I didn't even change that he had, so I love it. Yeah.
Alright, so thanks for watching, everyone. Harpoon is our grand champion. And this is Noob Hope. Hope if anyone else is in the Seattle area, I will bring this game for casuals. And hopefully if we get enough people, we can run tournaments. That'd be dope. Signing off.